Well, welcome back. The Buzz is back this season, and we're so delighted. We're going to be diving right into, wait for it, travel opportunities for seniors. Travel opportunities for seniors. Now, most of these people never had a chance to travel when they were raising their families and paying their mortgages and all that good stuff. But now there's a unique opportunity for seniors to travel. So that's what we're going to be digging into today. And I'm Doreen Kiley, your host of The Buzz, and we've got two of the experts when it comes to travel on our panel today, and it brings me great pleasure to introduce them to you now. Starting with Mary Weber over here. Mary Weber, travel guru girl, travel design specialist, and Mary is specializing in women's travel with a women's travel group called Travel Girls on the Go. I love that name. I wonder where you got that. I love that name. And then, of course, joining Mary today on our panel is our own Glenda Pollock. Now, Glenda Pollock is actually the executive director of the Sharing Closet, and this is like a treasure chest of senior activities, and of course, she is also the travel host for the Travel Girls on the Go group. So we're in good hands today with these two lovely ladies. And I've been so looking forward to you girls coming to the studio so we could talk about travel, because who doesn't love to travel, right? And basically, we're going to open it up now with, here's a question for you. How has travel changed over the years for our seniors? And what are the new options for seniors who want to travel today?
That's a really good question, Doreen. I think most people think of seniors as being really old, and we're all seniors on this panel.
We are.
But 55 plus.
Yeah.
But a long time ago, or not so long ago, it was just bus travel. It was just a bus from A to B, maybe from Edmonton to Calgary to see something. Yeah, really boring. And maybe the odd cruises, and that was the once in a lifetime kind of trip that maybe somebody did. But now I think it's way different.
Yeah.
There is so many opportunities out there for people. Like, there's people that are in their 70s that want to go zip lining. Like,
yeah,
would
cool.
you have thought your parents doing that?
No, but I did it once. It was awesome.
So those kinds of things are now available, soft adventure type. So women in particular are really looking for that. They have some money and some resources, and they want to do that. So, and all 7 continents are available. So you can go to Antarctica, you can go to the Arctic, you can go to places that you never thought would be possible. A safari, Machu Picchu in Peru, South America. So it's so different than it was even 25 years ago. I think there's so much opportunity out there.
To me, it's just so much more accessible.
Oh, right.
The internet has made the world smaller.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Your bucket list trips can be, like Mary is saying, like things you never dreamt 20 years ago you could do. I also think it's a bit more affordable for people now than in the 50s or 60s.
Yes.
And it's more common. Like back then, like you say, they maybe did one really big trip in a lifetime, like we're going to go to Hawaii, and that was it.
Absolutely.
And so many cater to seniors.
Nice. And
good travel insurance and safety on your trips.
And being able to travel with, like, some people, their spouse maybe is passed on, or their spouse doesn't like to travel.
Yeah.
And so, I see there's a lot of women that fall into that category where, I don't know what the statistics are, but a lot of men pass away before their wives.
Absolutely.
And then their wives are left as widows, and they want to travel, but they don't want to travel alone. And so you girls doing like sort of a group thing, like that's really an amazing opportunity for women.
Well, and I think some people are just afraid. Like, they're dreaming about it. They see their friends going on trips, and maybe there's couples, and they're thinking, well, I'm not going with them because I'm a third wheel, right? But you shouldn't feel that way, because there's opportunities for all kinds of travel. So if you join any kind of a group, you're going to find some like-minded women along.
Nice.
And when you do that, then you think, oh, where would you like to go? Where would you like to go? And sometimes in the room, maybe none of those those people want to go to where you want to go. So you shouldn't settle for something that somebody else is going on. If you truly have a dream trip that you want to take, then you should be talking to a professional about it. And they can find something for you, you know, because it's available. Like now there's trips available or that companies provide. They'll find a roommate match for you.
Oh, wow.
So at one time, if you were a solo traveler, you had to pay double. I know I did, you know, have to pay double when I was traveling.
Like cruises, like
Yeah, exactly. And now some of the cruise ships are actually getting smart and they're realizing there is a bunch of solo travelers out
why should
there.
they be penalized, right?
Exactly. So they're actually designing the ships where the cabins are solo cabins. So they're paying a better price, but they're also offering social activities around those solo people.
I love
So
that.
there could be an activity, there could be a lounge that they go and meet before dinner, then they go to dinner
Meet
together.
and greet some new people, make some new friends.
Exactly, and they're activity focused. So I think the companies have really smartened up in what they're offering. So the expense is a lot less than it used to be, but you also get to meet some other like-minded individuals when you're traveling.
Well, and it reminds me of the two of you being partners in your travel group. So Glenda, tell us the story about, like, how did this all come to be where you and Mary sort of teamed up together and you became Mary's host for a lot of her groups? How did this all happen?
So back when I was in the retail industry, when I had my consignment store, I would hear so many customers come in and say, oh, I would love to go to Italy. I'd love to go to Spain.
That's because you were like a hairdresser. Everybody told you
I
everything.
suppose. I loved listening to them. I missed them.
They were all your friends.
But they'd say to me, you know, I'm at the point in my life where I have the means to travel, the time to travel, the desire to travel, the good health to travel, but I don't know how to put it all together. I'm afraid to go overseas by myself. So I thought, aha, I know Mary. And so we started our travel group.
That is so awesome. Like, I mean, you saw a need and you reached out, like Mary is in your networking group. You reached out to Mary and said, hey, you know, there's a need out there. Maybe we can help in that regard. And now that your consignment store is gone, you've decided to retire from that. Now you're going full tilt into that, which is travel is one of your loves. You were just in Greece or something, weren't you?
I was. And last Christmas, I was in Vietnam for a month.
Oh my God.
And it was there I had this epiphany. Where I woke up one morning and thought, I love traveling. I love being with my family. I love experiencing new cultures. I'm not getting younger.
Yeah, if I'm going to do this.
There's a lot of the world I haven't seen. Why was I in my hotel room last night doing a January schedule for my staff? So that was the moment when I thought, I think I'm done with that chapter of my life. And it opened up something that was amazing. And then in September, there was 8 of us that went to Greece.
Oh, so
and
nice.
It was just over the top. I have high expectations, and this trip was like this. We would get together at night and chat about our day, and we'd go, best day ever.
I love
and
that.
then the next day we'd go, best day ever. And the common theme at the end of the trip was these women saying, you know, I came on this trip knowing one person, and now I have 7 new friends. And we stay in contact.
Oh, I love that.
We meet for supper. So
I love that. And you do a lot of social media too as the host of the group, because I've seen, you guys posting pictures
yes,
and having your dinner parties and
it's all about getting to know each other and building those relationships so that the women feel comfortable
yes.
with us.
I
and
love that.
I just felt so safe on that trip.
That's another thing I want to talk about traveling as a group is the safety
Yes.
factor.
Yes, and that's so true because I think some of the people had never been to Europe before. So it was really important to have that safety factor. And that's really something that a group offers.
Yeah.
So you've got your safety.
They know they're in good hands. Like you're a travel agent, Mary.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they know that you know what you're doing.
Well, I think the other thing is that all of the details are taken care of for you, and that's really a factor. Some of the ladies maybe had a husband that used to plan all their travel for them, and all of a sudden they're alone.
Right.
And then they really don't know how to do it.
And you know what else too is nowadays, if you don't have a computer and if you don't have internet access, or you maybe are a senior that doesn't do that, like my mom is 86, she doesn't do that.
Yeah.
I can't believe how crippled you are. You
Yes.
can't do anything.
Yes.
Like we had to book travel for my mom and her partner when they went to Rome, when they went to, Palm Springs for the winter months or whatever, because they didn't have internet access. You can't even buy an airline ticket, without a credit card and without internet access these days. So
yeah. The good thing about the internet is that if you're planning a trip that's quite far away, you should really maybe do some investigation on your own. Do a little bit of study on the internet and look at what you might be interested in seeing. And then you've done a little bit of homework, and then you can go to a professional and say, well, this is what I have in mind.
Right.
Can you help me
Put
with
something
this?
together for me.
But for the solo travelers, and I say solo doesn't mean you have to travel alone. It means that we can put that solo person, let's say you came in and said, I want to go somewhere. Well, I'm sure we could fit you in somewhere.
Yeah.
You tell me what you want, or you tell your professional what you want, and they're going to find it for you.
Wow.
So, and then they're going to make you feel safe. Because for me, the safety aspect is very, very important. But also, if you've never traveled to a foreign country where maybe English is not the first language, it can be a bit of a culture shock.
It's intimidating.
It is.
Yeah.
And how do I get from A to B? So if it's looked after for me, I get off the plane, I get to my hotel, it was taken care of for me. Language isn't a barrier then.
Right.
So, and when you get to a hotel, the concierge at your hotel then becomes your best friend. Who knows the area better? They do.
That's true.
So when you're looking for help in that area, that's who you would approach,
Right.
that sort of thing. But having all of your details taken care of for you as a solo traveler is very, very important.
So, Glenda, what kind of details? Now, you're the host, so you're also a traveler in this group that Mary's organized. So, how did that benefit you?
So it was like 8 solo travelers. And so we arrived in Greece. Everything just went lickety-split.
Like
so
from
there
the
was
airport?
someone waiting for us at the airport that spoke
Nice.
English.
Yes.
Took care of our luggage, got us to the hotel. Besides being in Athens, we traveled to 3 different islands.
Oh, wow.
So
Amazing.
all of our transfers
Which is so
were
important.
taken care of.
Like, how do we get there? There's
Yes,
no Uber,
you-
there's no cabs. It's all taken care of.
If you tried to do it yourself, you could waste so much time. You could pay more than you should.
Yes.
The location of our hotels were all in a central area where we felt safe
Nice.
walking around. We'd go out for dinner at night and walk back. We weren't concerned, is this a safe area or not? So peace of mind.
Right.
It
So
was
good.
just all, we just had to show up at the
Oh,
right time.
I love that.
And a van took us to the ferry, or a bus picked us up at the ferry. It was
Nice.
very smooth.
And nobody gets scared. If there's a hiccup, it's like, well, there's 8 of us. We'll figure this out.
That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah, the beauty.
And they had quite a bit of free time as well. So when you're planning a trip, sometimes people want every second planned out for them. And so maybe they need to take more of a tour where you're, again, all the details are taken care of for you. But the must-see things that you want to see, let's say you're going to Italy. Well, then if you're taking that bus tour, you are going to see all the must-sees. So the Vatican or the Colosseum. If you go on a lower price trip, sometimes you're going to drive by. You're not going inside. So those are the things you gotta weigh. Also, is the expense. Sometimes it looks like it might cost you more if you're doing the full-fledged tour, but in the end, you're getting more for your money. You're also in central locations, which is very, very important, because when you do have free time, you want to be able to do some wandering on your own. Whereas sometimes a budget trip will have you on the outskirts of the city,
Right.
And so then you're not likely to go out on your own because like, how do I get from A to B? I don't know the language. You know, so those are the kind of considerations in planning trips that you have to take into account.
And the money you think you're saving, you end up paying for cabs or Ubers into town.
Yes, or spending extra on some optional tours that you didn't plan.
That you didn't buy in advance, so now you're going to pay the premium, right?
Exactly. So all of those kind of things have to be taken into account. There's also things that people need to know when they're going to foreign countries, like what are some of the things you shouldn't do when you're there. So those are the kinds of things, like when you're doing just research on the internet, they're not really going to tell you all of that stuff that, no-nos, that sort of thing. So dealing with a professional is really, really important.
Well, and Mary, you've been to a lot of these destinations because that's what you do for a living. So, I mean, I always love that. Like when we worked with you about our trip to Egypt, but we made that pit stop in Paris. Like we said, this is our budget. Paris isn't like the big thing for us, but since we're going to be here, we might as well spend a couple days here. And we just told you what our needs were and what our budget was for hotels and stuff. And you said, okay, I have recommendations, because you have that information. If I had to source that out on my own, again, like Linda said, I would have spent a ton of time trying to figure that out. Why would I do that?
Well, you got to consider that if you're a doctor or a lawyer or anybody, we're the same thing. We're a professional. And so when you're going to a professional, we have that at hand. And so we can do it much more quickly. And we can also give you the tips that you should know when you're going. And I think that's really, really important. So when somebody keeps going to the same all-inclusive, that's different. Anybody can book that online. But when you're looking into different trips around the world, you should be talking to a professional to help you with that. Because even when you went to Vietnam, I'm sure if your son hadn't helped you with that, it would have been a little bit more difficult to do.
And a comment I'd like to make on that, my son, when he took my sister and I to the airport to fly home, after spending a month with us, his words to us were, "You two have been such an inspiration to Nancy and I." I was 69, my sister is 76. And he said, the way you guys can travel and enjoy and experience makes us realize we still have 30, 40 years to look forward to.
That's so nice.
Yeah, like...
I love that. And Glenda, like, what about, the mental health of our seniors when they say, I'm going to do this, and then they latch onto a group like you girls, and they make it happen. And I mean, I can just imagine the kind of friendships that you guys, these probably become lifelong friends for you.
Yes, because you're with them in an environment where you're relaxed, you want to have fun. And it's not like a high-stress work job, right? You're on a beach having margaritas. So it's fun, lots of laughter, and you just get goofy and silly and take lots of pictures and all the memories.
Absolutely. I know that as a kid, my parents sent my brother and I to to Amsterdam, to London, England, and to Paris as a part of a school trip. It was only 14 days though, Mary.
Yeah.
We crammed a lot in 14 days.
Yeah.
But you know what? When we came back, I think there was 21 students on that trip. And we had our typing teacher and Sister Breton, she was a nun. Anyways, we had a great time. But we had this kinship after that with the kids. Like when we came back to school, we'd go down the hallway and we had our own little private jokes and stuff because we had that bonding experience. And we've always stayed close after that, that group that went together.
And I think that's what you'll find. So any of these seniors now are so much more open.
Yes.
And the mindset is different. You're looking to do things together, maybe develop a friendship, and you're sharing that whole experience that nobody else is sharing at the same time with you, right? And I think what's important also because of a senior, and you talked about health, Glenda, is that getting those faraway trips under your belt as soon as you can. Because the farther that you have to travel, the flights,
insurance, I can imagine.
Exactly, but also the flights are longer and they take a lot out of you when you're traveling.
Yeah.
So you want to get, like if you're going to Africa or you're going to Asia or Australia,
big
that sort of
travel
thing.
Destinations. Well, we talked about this a little while ago when we talked about, how if you're flying for long periods of time, like touch on that, Mary, when we were talking about that.
So you really should wear loose clothing, but also compression socks are really, really important because you could develop some blood clots in your legs for sitting. So you have to make sure that you get up, you have to make sure that you drink lots of water and make sure your clothing is loose because you can get some feet swelling, that sort of thing. So those are really important, and as soon as you get off the planes, get up there and walk a little bit, get some fresh air, and get your legs and brain moving again.
And a lot of people don't know that. When we've heard the horror stories about people that have been seated for too long and then they get up and then they get a blood clot and in some cases they pass from that. So really important. I know it's not easy to get up on a plane.
Yeah.
But even if you don't have to go to the washroom,
just get up.
Just get up and walk to the back anyways. Like I think that's really important.
It is
for
it
sure.
is. And insurance is really important as well. Like health and cancellation insurance as well. Because the older you get, stuff can happen, right? And being hospitalized is not fun. And it can be very, very expensive. So
go ahead, Glenda.
Vaccinations for
Yeah.
like for Vietnam, there was numerous ones we had to get.
Yeah.
Important to take care of your health. And Mary, you were going to touch a little bit on, you're the smart packer. Like, I always like your little travel tips about how to pack.
Travels like for 2+ weeks in a carry-on. And I know other people do too. I'm high maintenance.
So we've got travel packing cubes, and lots of people have never tried them, and really
I want to try this.
Yeah, so this one is used more for shirts and pants, that sort of thing. So you've got a folding board.
And it's got a folding board.
And shows you how to
and it shows you how to do it.
No way.
So my husband uses this all the time for his shirts and stuff like that. I use it for my pants, and there's different sizes.
So how many shirts can he get in that?
I think in his size, because he's got the little bit larger one, probably up to 10.
Oh my gosh.
And they fold right
10
over.
shirts in this little envelope.
Right. And then you know exactly what's in these. And that's the other thing that's really, really nice in this. And then these are the little packing cubes. So in terms of what you do with these is that you know that there may be t-shirts or whatever, and I just roll them up. So what's important to me is that I always get stuff that doesn't wrinkle and easy to wash if you had to and stuff like that. So in this little one I had eight of these packed in here. And you know what?
Use these two, Glenda? No,
I do.
So you know exactly what's in
a big size.
And you know that's okay too, because if you had a bunch of there, you know exactly what's in there. And even if you're staying in a hotel or on a cruise or whatever, then you can just put them right in your drawer, and you know exactly what's in here. And then there's a different size.
A tip I got from Judy, who traveled with us, I use these and I put tops in one and bottoms in another, dresses, lingerie, whatever. She puts she was going to Australia, I believe, and going to 2 or 3 destinations. So she put her clothes for the first one in one, her clothes for the second. Whereas I was opening up each, for a top from
And she was going to different climates, so I think it made a difference too. So that makes sense as well. The other thing that I could mention is a cut-proof purse.
Okay.
So any country you're going into, you're going to have people that do.
Unfortunately. Bad things.
Yes, exactly. So all of these straps on here are cut proof. No one can cut through.
Yeah.
One of the most common things in a trip, you've got this on your shoulder, your regular purse, they just come along and they cut it. They're not there to hurt you, they're there for your purse.
Yeah.
So they've designed, this is a very small one, but there's all sizes available. And all of this stuff is cut proof, so they can't cut through.
Is that also good with the credit card thing where they can't scan your credit cards?
Yeah, they have the RFID in there.
That's
exactly. So there's various sizes and you can get them at most retailers, this type of thing. But this is what I would highly recommend when I'm traveling to foreign destinations. This is the small one. I take a really, really large purse and put this inside of there when I'm going to my destination.
Right.
But out for the day, this is what I use. So nobody can get into it.
I know. I usually do that too when I travel. I have my regular purse, but then I bring a little purse that goes over, I like this so that if I'm shopping, my hands are free and I'm not always having to pull my purse.
And you don't need the weight. All you need is a bottle of water and really what you need for the day.
Right in.
That is so unique. Oh gosh. So Mary, Glenda, you girls are just amazing with what you've created. And it's so nice to see that there are people out there that are focusing on seniors and making it easy for seniors to get out and do all their bucket list things. And you can be one of those people. So you know what? Get yourself hooked up with a group like this. I just want to give you a final word of advice. Go ahead, Mary. What would you like to tell our audience?
I just say life is short. Take the trip.
Oh, I love it.
I say life is short. Have fun.
Girls just want to have fun. Yes, we do.
Absolutely.
And we always have fun on The Buzz, and I'm so glad that you've joined us today for our feature on seniors and their travel opportunities. Take care. We'll see you again soon. This is The Buzz, over and out.